Over the course of the last week, we've had a Bangalore-themed story event in Apex Legends that finally answers some of the massive questions left hanging in her backstory and culminates with her decision to leave the Outlands for good and return to her home planet of Gridiron. Oh, what's up, you guys? I'm not amazing, I'm just mediocre, and we're going to be going over all the juicy details of this Bangalore Chronicle and why I believe there's more to this story than we are being told. Let's get right into it. The Bangalore Chronicle starts off with Wraith delivering some painful news that she's actually discovered records of Jackson's death about 5 years ago, including his dog tags that she returns to Bangalore. However, the records of where his body was buried were actually destroyed in a fire about 2 years after this record of death. Bangalore is distraught by the news and takes time to reflect on her brother's passing. We see a flashback of Bangalore with Jackson, who's made a red velvet cake just like their grandma would make for their family gatherings. Bangalore refuses to have any and tells Jackson like she feels he's completely forgotten about where they came from. But Jackson tells Bangalore he's actually doing the best that he can to keep their memories alive. He tells her he knows he'll probably never be able to see their family again, but when he honors their traditions, he feels connected to him, and it reminds him of all the good times that they had together. Bangalore, however, says that it's just not that easy for her to let them go and move on with her life. In the third chapter, we see Bangalore trying to get advice from Lobo regarding her potential trip back to Gridiron. She tells Lobo that after everything she's learned, there's nothing left for her in the Outlands and it might be best for her to just return to her home. Loba scoffs at the suggestion, reminding Bangalore that she actually doesn't like flying and asking who would even want to take her on this 20-year journey in the first place. Bangalore tells her that Revenant actually offered to be the pilot, and this enrages Loba. She knows that Revenant is only doing this to recover his source code from the planet Gridiron and scolds Bangalore for working with him. Loba also brings up the painful memory of overhearing Bangalore tell everyone that Loba was just a friend, suggesting that Loba still has lingering feelings for Bangalore and hoped that the two might still end up together. Bangalore ignorantly suggests that things ended up working out okay for Loba now that she's with Valkyrie. And Loba reminds her that while she thinks that she knows what's best for everyone else, she doesn't even know what's best for herself, and storms out of the room just as Revenant is walking in. He asks Bangalore if she's all done with her soul searching, and Bangalore says that she is finally ready to go home. In our final cutscene, we see Bangalore at the crash site of the Hestia 1 on Storm Point, where she first arrived in the Outlands. She's here to perform a family ritual called the Williams Send-Off, a tradition they'd always do when someone was about to head out on deployment. Except now she's here to honor the death of her brother as she prepares to leave the Outlands for good. Bangalore sips on a beer as she reminisces about her brother Jackson's ability to have found a home here in the Outlands where she simply could not. And we pan away from this finale as a giant Apex Legends logo appears on the screen. But that can't possibly be the end of the tale. Obviously, Respawn isn't simply going to axe 2 legends off their Apex roster just so they can fly off on a 20 years journey through space. Something has to happen that's going to change Bangalore's mind and keep her here in the Outlands. But what could that possibly be? Well, there's a theory out here that suggests that the rumored Season 13 legend Newcastle could actually be Jackson in disguise. If we compare Jackson's face to the recently leaked images of Newcastle's, you can definitely see the similarity. And it's a good possibility that these two people are one and the same. While Wraith found records of Jackson's death, they could not recover the body. And without this 100% positive proof, it's entirely possible that Jackson could have faked his death in order to escape persecution by the IMC. However, that doesn't explain why he never bothered to reach out to his sister Bangalore. After all, she's famous as part of the Apex games. Her face is known all across the Outlands. And even if Jackson was trying to stay low, it's extremely unlikely that he never would have reached out to contact the only family that he has left within reach. One possibility is that he did in fact suffer a serious injury 5 years ago at the time of his recorded death, but that injury caused severe memory loss. So in a way, it could be that Jackson did die, but the memories of Jackson, not the person, and that instead the individual of Newcastle came up out of the recovery process. I can easily see Bangalore preparing to depart the Outlands, only to see the brother that she mourned the death of turn out to be alive and kicking. However, when she tries to greet him, he's got no idea who she is. Now Bangalore and her inability to let go of the past would put her in a position to want to stay in the Outlands and try to help her brother recover his lost memories. I honestly can't think of any other logical way for Respawn to actually keep Revenant and Bangalore in the Outlands after the events of this Bangalore Chronicle. What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section below. And if you missed out on any of the backstory leading up to this event, then you're going to want to click on the video you see in the corner of your screen right now. I hope to see you there. In the meantime, I'm not amazing, I'm just mediocre, and I'm out.